Folks, welcome to Beauty's Cafe in Grafton Street, where it all began many moons ago. I'm here in my old alma mater, Beauty's Cafe on Grafton Street, the most famous cafe in Ireland, wonderful institution that it is. I'm here with Dr. Sinead Kane, who's come to join me for a coffee with Colm. Sinead, you're very welcome.
Thanks very much for having me.
Lovely to meet you here. So Sinead, Dr. Sinead Kane, many of our viewers will know who Dr. Sinead Kane is, and I'm sure there are some out there who haven't yet met you. So will you just give us a potted history? Who is Dr. Sinead Kane?
Well, I'm a double PhD doctorate. I'm double Guinness World Record holder, qualified solicitor, certified mediator, writer with the Irish Criminal Law Journal, consultant, and then I run my own business as well, self-employed. So speaking is mainly my business. I mostly speak for companies in Ireland, and recently I've been speaking abroad, doing work in, say, places like Sweden, Austria and Boston.
My goodness, that's some potted history, and I thought I was busy until I heard your resume.
Yeah.
That's some list of achievements.
Yeah, well, I suppose with being qualified solicitor, I qualified as Ireland's first visually impaired solicitor in 2009, and I suppose that's 10 years ago now, and it feels like a lifetime ago, but to get to it was a lot of hard work and passion. And I'm not practicing as a solicitor at the moment because I'm doing my speaking full time, but I do, say, a small bit of consultancy work. But like, I'm not saying never that I'm not going back to it, because I suppose a problem with me is I want to do everything. So I want to be practicing as a solicitor, I want to be a full-time speaker, I want to be a full-time ultra runner, I want to be full-time doing everything. So I suppose you can't spread yourself too thinly. So I will go back to it. I think the days are long and gone of just having one job, 9 to 5, and I think that's the beauty of it, that actually I, with a disability, have a lot of options open to me, whereas a lot of people might not have options. So I'm very grateful for the options that I do have, because I believe education is power, knowledge is power, and I think that you can learn a lot by having a variety of different jobs. I've learned a lot through my running, a lot more than what I would maybe in a textbook. I've learned a lot more about life through meeting people. So you learn different things through having a varied career.
You see, your resume is already impressive enough, and then you throw in the little caveat, oh yeah, I'm visually impaired as well. So, you know, the rest of us are thinking, my goodness, how does this woman do it all? And may I ask, decided to become a lawyer and knowing it was going to be very difficult because you were visually impaired, was the visual impairment part of your motivation, that you wanted to prove to yourself and perhaps to others that people with some disability can actually go on and do great things?
Well, an aha moment in my life has been where my careers advisor teacher told me at age 17 that I couldn't study law. I went into her and I told her that I wanted to study law, and she's, I suppose, very seriously told me, like, I don't think you can do that. Law is a reading-based subject, and for me then it was like, well, I'm going to pursue this. I'm not going to allow your, I suppose, limitations control my destiny. So that was when the pendulum swung for me around when I was 17, because up to the age of 17 I was a very introvert, very low self-esteem, low confidence. I stand up, I do many speeches for schools, like my largest audience has been 7,500 at the Tree Arena for students, Cycle Against Suicide. And then my smallest number would be maybe 10 people in a room. So I've spoken for large and small audiences, and people would say, oh, you're a very good speaker, but I haven't always been that. As I say, my aha moment was at 17. Before that, I was a very different person to what I am now.
It's incredible, and a great story. And do you mind me asking, does that careers guidance teacher, is he or she following your career with interest?
I don't know, is that person even still alive or anything? But I suppose I don't kind of look up that person or anything.
I get that.
I was very badly bullied in school. People have friend requests to me on Facebook. Again, I haven't accepted their friend requests, but I suppose in my heart I do forgive them, but I don't feel that I have to be around them.
That makes perfect sense. No, well said. And you know, bullying unfortunately is a fact of life.
Very prevalent, yeah.
Very prevalent, and the more we can do to highlight it and spotlight it, I think the better. Delighted because of my day job, as you know, is school lunches. So I like you have the opportunity to go and speak to kids, but I think your story is quite much more interesting because they're looking at somebody who's made a go of herself despite a disability.
Yeah, well, my PhD actually was on the area of bullying, so it was interdisciplinary education and law at secondary school teachers' duty of care inside and outside of school regarding bullying. Wow. So yeah, that was my PhD, and I suppose it's kind of weird that how I was extremely badly bullied and then went to the point of then ending up doing a PhD on the topic of bullying.
But are they not all linked? You know, if you think your aha moment was your career as guidance teacher saying you can't, and the fact that you were bullied, you sort of said, well, I can do something about that by...
But like, I suppose for me, when I did my law degree and then followed my masters in law, both done in UCC, fantastic university, and
plug there.
Yeah, but I suppose after I did my masters, I said, right, that's me done with education. I'm now, my master's done, I'm now going on to do my traineeship, my solicitor, and after that, that's me finished, completely finished with college, because actually at the time when I finished my masters, my dad said, would you ever consider a PhD? And that was back in 2005, and I said, never ever will I do a PhD, and now I have 2 PhDs. So like, I suppose moral of that story is never say never, because that was in 2005 and I started my academic PhD in 2013. Wow. So you just don't know kind of what life has in store for you. Yeah,
for sure. And you know, your dad asked you, would you do a PhD? And you said no, so you did 2.
Yeah, I got an academic and an honorary. So I got the honorary in October 2017 from the NUI, National University of Ireland, and I suppose that's with all the activism work that I've done and community work. And then I got the academic then in January 2018. So I suppose I got the honorary before the academic one, and I kind of said to myself, oh sure, I've got the academic one now, I've got the title, I don't have to finish out the academic one, but you did. You have to do the hard.
You actually, speaking of plugs, you and I reconnected at the Pendulum Summit, Frankie Sheehan's Pendulum Summit recently in Dublin again. How was that for you?
I really enjoyed it. I think it's nice to go to that type of event where you have like-minded people, great event to start off the year. I think so many of us recharge our phones, but none of us really recharge ourselves.
Wow.
And I think it's even the most positive people have to recharge themselves on a daily basis. And I suppose that's why I'm very mindful to do things like such as read affirmation quotes, watch TED Talks, or in my case listen to them on YouTube, because like we are all into the physical exercise, but we really have to concentrate on nourishing the brain, and I think so many of us just take it for granted. Oh, I don't have to do it, but you do have to work on it, just like your physical. Yeah,
I would agree. I think what we saw there were thousands of leaders, and leadership doesn't happen by accident. It's a decision, and we prepare ourselves for leadership. So it's great. May I ask then, what is your daily routine around that?
So I suppose when I get up in the morning time, I try not to go to the phone straight away. Obviously I have the phone there and I switch off the alarm, but I purposely don't kind of start reading emails or texts straight away. I just switch off the alarm once I get out of the bed, leave the phone to the side, and that kind of signals to me I'm not held captive or slave to my phone.
Well said.
And I suppose my main focus then is my nutrition, like getting in my protein drink, or like eggs. I suppose I'm vegetarian, I don't eat fish or meat. It's important in terms of the running for me to keep maintaining my muscle, because obviously if I'm doing so much exercise, the last thing you want to do is your muscle to be wasting away, because then the exercise you're doing isn't worth it. But so I try and focus on my nutrition, and then I suppose I try like we can all watch the news and we can get very upset by the news. So I kind of think about maybe ringing my family member. If my family member isn't around, I read an affirmation quote, and I kind of ask myself, well, what am I grateful for today?
Wow.
And I, like, a lot of people talk about meditation, and I suppose I've tried meditation in the past, sitting on the floor and just in bare silence, and some days it works and some days it doesn't work.
Very honest.
So on the days where it doesn't work, so I don't have that daily routine, I every single day sit down. So what I kind of do is, whether I'm in the bathroom or whether I'm just walking around the hall, I kind of be asking myself questions in my head. What am I grateful for today? Because I think a lot of people think, say, in terms of like vision impairment, oh, that only affects her, she's visually impaired since birth, that only affects her. But like, anybody can become visually impaired through accident or illness.
Okay.
And I suppose, like, some days I don't want to go running. Have the treadmill record for furthest distance for a female on a treadmill.
Of course you do.
In 12 hours. But like, even though I have that, some days I find it a struggle to go out and do 5k or 10k.
Wow.
And then on those days when I find it a struggle to go out and do 5k or 10k, I kind of say to myself, snap out of it, Sinead. There's people out there who would love to go for a run, but they can't through accident or illness. And here you're complaining about you've the opportunity. So I try and rephrase things in my head when I feel that I'm starting to become a bit negative, or I suppose if I'm feeling angry about something, I just try and maybe listen to a happy song. And I think getting out in the outside into nature, I think getting out is really important. And for me as well, I'm the type of person who, about habits, so like when I get up, like I can't leave the house unless I know my bed is made.
Okay.
Because for me, the day only starts when the bed is made.
Yeah, very good,
And then, like, I also like to have the bed aired, so that kind of takes a process of making sure the bed is aired and then going back to make it. So, like, because I think if you leave your duvet to the side, then there's always that open door opportunity to get back into bed and snooze for the day. Like, if you're feeling sorry for yourself, or I suppose my kind of daily work is I'm not doing speaking every single day. I'm self-employed, so it doesn't matter to people if I get back into bed.
Yes.
But for me, because I'm trying to earn a wage, it matters to me. So
well done,
I have to have the bed made.
Powerful.
So that's when
powerful
the day
stuff.
begins.
Can I ask, if I may, a highlight since you started on this journey, and particularly because speaking is your profession now, professionally speaking, have you a particular highlight, one particular moment on stage or in front of a group that stands out for you? Tune in next week to find out what Dr. Sinead Kane's career highlights are and hear some of her hilarious, most embarrassing moments. See you then.